Jonathan, your first film was Hunger?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, my first feature-length film.
Feature-length.
I did a short just to kind of get the feel of what what it's like to make a movie, kind of block it, and then to edit it. But that was just really a sketch. But Hunger was the first movie I made.
Okay. Where were you in your life at this time? What year was this?
It was actually about 3 years ago. I had been writing screenplays for almost 6 years at the time. But based on a blog post that a friend of mine made, he's like, you gotta kind of make your own dreams come true. No one's gonna open a door for you. You just gotta do it. And so based on that, I did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what were the steps that you took? What I mean, like, I'm sure you thought it was going to be easy, or did you think it was going to be hard, or where were you?
I knew that there would be a lot of logistical problems. One of the things I really don't like that I had to deal with a lot, because my first film I used mostly college students, so working around their schedules, so scheduling wasn't fun. But keeping track of the amount of footage that you get for a feature-length film, different cuts, different takes, different locations, different angles. It's just a lot of stuff to keep track of, but it wasn't particularly difficult. There's just a lot of work. And if you kind of are methodical about it and you say, this is scene 2, take 2, angle 4, and just label it, and then store it that way, then it's really quite manageable.
Okay. Well then, hindsight, 3 years later, whatever, what have you learned that you would never do again, and what are things that you would most certainly do again? What if you could take a new filmmaker under your wings, what would you tell them?
Well, the first thing I tell them is it's totally doable. I think there's this big motif or thinking in Hollywood that you need a certain amount of money to do something, or that you need someone's permission, or anything like that. And I remember sitting in this room with this guy, and he was like, I need at least $90,000 to make a horror movie. And I said, dude, I shot my first film for less than $2,000. And I did it, and it's a feature-length film. And I said, I can do the same thing with your horror movie in this apartment. And he had gone to film school, and it's just like they indoctrinate the idea that it needs to be done a certain way. But thanks to tools like even what we're recording with this, the 5D, it's just shattered what's possible. We can do anything.
Do you think that's what stops a lot of people? They get that filmed great and they think it has to be perfect. I know there was someone that we knew that was like, oh, our first film's going to be $500,000. I mean, that's like the first film.
Yeah.
Do you think that stops a lot of people? Because if they can't make it totally excellent, why make it at all?
Well, there's a couple things I think that go on. One is the budget. People are afraid that they need a certain amount of money because everyone said that that's the case. And that with the budget comes different things like with a bigger budget you get different actors, and you need certain, like Hollywood says, you need a certain caliber of actor to sell the movie, or you need some kind of name to do that. And you and I both know filmmakers who have done movies that have been successful without names at all.
Right.
Or very small names that are affordable. But that, and then also there's as an artist, it's kind of difficult to, there's this, it's like when I was writing screenplays, and before that I was writing novels, it's hard to get to the point where you're willing to put your stuff out there, because that's kind of like your soul, and you're bearing it for people. And in art, everybody thinks that there's this de facto standard by which things are judged, so they're going to compare your work to it, and it's like, am I good enough? Do people like me? Can I deal with that kind of rejection? So I think it's both those things, and also a drive. It is a lot of work. It's not hard work. It's not impossible work. I don't think it takes a specific kind of person to do it. Just you have to be willing to not stop, because I think I was getting like 6 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep a night for 3 or 4 months. You just have to be willing to do that.
Right. And is that a challenge that you saw come up? Maybe did you not think that that was a part of this, and then you realized, wow, there's a lot of tedious, not so glamorous work involved. Am I really ready to do all this? Was that a challenge to find that information out?
No, I mean, I had done some PA work, so I knew there was a lot of work involved, and a lot of the PA jobs I had were 12 to 14-hour days. So I knew that each day that I worked, that's probably what my schedule was going to be, plus the behind-the-scenes stuff. So it wasn't the work, and it wasn't even, for me it wasn't even that, because it was like, like I said, if I wanted my dream to happen, there was no one that was going to make it happen. I had to get up and do it.
Okay.
And so that's what drove me, and that's what gave me the energy. And of course, the support of my wife, which was amazing. She was always there, egging me on. So you gotta have emotional support too.
Right.
But it was that reality that the dream's not going to happen unless I do it. Because there's so many people who are as talented or more talented than myself who are willing to work for it. And so they don't need to come and find someone who isn't. They'll just wait for the droves to come to them.
We always hear that the movie that you set out to make never is that. It kind of dictates to you what it wants to be. Did you find that out with your first film? Did it evolve into something that you hadn't planned?
I think that there are kind of there's like 3 or 4 stages of writing something. There's where you have the idea. It's kind of one writing, and then when it's on script, it kind of becomes something else. When you're filming it, it becomes another thing. When you're editing it, it becomes yet another thing. And then when people see it, they take their interpretation for it. So, is it the film I planned? Yes and no. I mean, it was the script, for sure. It feels the way I wanted it to feel.
Mm-hmm.
But what people take from it, I mean, I can only do my part. I can't dictate what people think about things.
Did you go the festival route with it, or did you say, you know what, this is my thesis?
I'll be honest with you, my big issue is promotion and selling. I have no idea what to do with something once I have it. I can get it, I can create it, I can make it, but once I have it, I'm like, okay, now I've got this thing, what do I do with it? I did submit it to a festival, so that, mostly because the actors kind of as an agreement so that they could get IMDb credit, because a lot of the festivals will automatically sign you up for IMDb, so it was a small fee to do that. That's why I did it. I mean, yes, we kind of hope that the moguls of Hollywood will see my film and love it and give me $8 million to make my next movie, but a lot of competition out there.
Well, I'm curious about the marketing angle, because I know that's a part that trips us all up, unless you're sort of wired that way and you've gone to school for that. What is it about the whole marketing process? Do you not like that self-promotion? Does that turn you off when you see it in other people?
It's not the self-promotion as much. I mean, I appreciate the need for it. Like, John Paul Rice is brilliant. If I can ever do something with him, I will do it immediately, because he is really good at what he does. He's a producer, you know John.
Yeah, Mother's Red Dress.
Yeah, Mother's Red Dress,
1
Hour Fantasy Girl, and then he's working on another film, and the way that guy promotes is amazing. He's brilliant at it, he's gifted.
Gifted speaker as well.
Yeah, and a darn nice guy.
Yeah.
But I can't do what he can do, and I don't. And when I watch him do it, I don't see it as like shameless either. I mean, he does it. There's a dignity about it, so I don't think it's necessarily has to be that way.
Right.
But it's just. I mean, I guess it's like any other aspect of the film. I didn't go to film school. I taught myself how to do all the things that I do, and I guess I'll just have to teach myself how to promote it too.
So, what are some of the things that you've done since then to kind of break out of that anti-marketing mode? Have you done anything? Have you had to push yourself more?
It wasn't that I was anti-marketing necessarily. I'm just no good at it.
Okay.
Some people are naturally good at it. Like, I wasn't the cool guy in school. Like, one of my brothers were that way. I wasn't the guy you'd vote for president. I had plenty of friends.
Yeah.
I wasn't an outcast necessarily, but that's just not my personality. And so marketing and selling things and talking to people about things is not the way I naturally do things. I guess deep inside of me, I still hope that simply by making something that is really good, that will naturally rise to the top, like the Bears video.
Right. Mm-hmm. But you can see too that he was able to, once he saw that people wanted him around, he saw that.
Oh yeah.
So,
you definitely got to walk through doors when they open.
Right.
But
right.
I mean, what doors do you knock on? At the same time, I mean, I am trying to network in Hollywood and meet people and find out, like like I said, I have to learn this.
Right.
So
What does that entail? I mean, because going to events where mixers or just trying to just connect with others.
yeah, I think it's coming at it from a lot of different angles. Like my brother owns an ad agency, and they do a lot of social media. So I talk to them about what are the most effective methods of advertising versus dollar to, return on investment. Joke and Biagio also talk about it a lot, and they're a great source. And they talk about like some of the best $100 they spent was their Facebook ads.
Wow.
So just learning where to do it, when to do it, how to do it. It's thinking of it as a math equation as opposed to this art project. It's kind of helping.